This match has a little bit of everything, from informing pubbies of some home truths to putting a tier 9 team upon my shoulders and carrying them, to a little bit of discussion about the attitudes of the people that play this game and how it relates to our society as a whole. So first things first, I notice our T20, who is both new to the game and terrible, is using the derp gun, a tier 5 HE slinging gun which has recently had its heat rounds nerfed at tier 7. There is no reason to ever use that gun on a tank above tier 6. Even at tier 6 now it's questionable. So I tell him to use the 90mm, or if he hasn't unlocked that yet, at least one of the 76s. Even the stock gun is a far better choice, being a tier 6 gun, I believe. Which I tell him. I am of course heading to this position here to hold down and try and spot the bridge and get early shots on whatever crosses. Here he replies lol not, so I can only assume that he was shooting HE from the 76mm stock gun. That's the only way I could imagine him arriving at the conclusion that the 105mm howitzer was in fact the superior weapon. And here he decides he's sick of listening to me giving him sage advice, and instead he's just going to spend the rest of the time shit talking, and the 4502B joins him. Now, this is a prime example, as I set the T30 on fire with a snapshot. This is a prime example of the anti-intellectualism that absolutely plagues this game's community, and on a larger scale, our society as a whole, of course referring to Western society, the developed nations, where it is now considered to be a matter of course that even the unqualified, unsupported opinions of any random member of society are of at least equal value to those who can provide evidence-based or experience-based, if not both, statements. This is of course an absolutely ridiculous attitude, degenerative and backwards, which leads to absolutely nothing good. The idea that opinions can never be wrong, and so everyone is entitled to an opinion and you shouldn't try and change it, is absolutely ridiculous. Most opinions, there are some that you could, I suppose, legitimately say they cannot definitively be counted as right or wrong, but the vast majority of topics that people will hold opinions on can be either proven or disproven. And objective fact does not much care for your opinion. Trying to encourage an attitude where opinion is held in higher regard than fact is absolutely ridiculous. And you see the end result on a at least less serious level in this game. So now with my little bit of socio-political soapboxing out of the way, I'm crossing the lake here to try and get some eyes on the Centurion and maybe the TDs in their base. I know that's where all those unspotted TDs are probably turtled up. The majority of the enemy team is in the north, and then, oh shit, this guy pops up behind me. The T95 has in fact been hiding behind a rock the whole time. So in front of a T95 is not a place anyone should want to be. I hope for a weak point shot there on his relatively thin lower plate, but unfortunately I shoot too high and it fails to go through. So I've been working my way around the rock. I know he's going to predict this move and turn, and at any rate I have plenty of teammates crossing the bridge to get his attention, but I know that he's close to this side of the rock, so I can in fact proxy spot him without exposing my tank to fire. I also know that on this side of the rock I'm much better protected if one of those TDs in the enemy base happens to spot me, probably via the Centurion. So I take a quick snapshot of the Waffenträger Panzer IV through a wall and manage to tag him. Then the T95 begins pushing on me. I make a panicked snapshot at his track, and in fact discover that the inside of the track skirts in the T95 are apparently a hitbox that can transfer damage to the tank. They are not spaced armor, as that shot should really never have killed him. You get another shot through a wall on the ISU and appear to track him, and a blind shot finishes him. Now, while I was soapboxing earlier, you may have noticed that 4502B carrying on about, oh, I don't have hardest to carry me in, I can't play well without him, which is of course ridiculous. So I make a snapshot on the move with a 152, which is not really the best idea, but the Centurion reloads so fast it doesn't really matter anyway, and that guy gets taken up. So I get a shot into the Waffen Traeger Panzer IV. As I move towards him to try and get under his gun, he takes a shot at me and bounces off either the side of my turret or the side of my hull. The angle that hit at, it wouldn't make much difference either way. It was an auto bounce. So I know the JT's up north. He's not a threat to me at the moment, so I can afford to take my time, but somebody else manages to get a kill. And so I begin heading north. You can see the VK is still full health, as am I, in fact. But if you look at the post-game report, I did rather a significant amount more in this match than he did at all, which is to be expected since he's actually not a very good player, and he's one that likes to shit-talk better players than him. I actually opened a chat window to him afterwards and pointed out this fact, but unfortunately he was too smart to reply. So the damage meter only shows 2884, but of course I did get some blind shots in there. I also did some spotting, a thing which the Centurion is very good at, especially when you play it the way I do. So on the whole, I did quite a lot to ensure that my team could win this game, even though our team in the north did certainly carry their weight. I ended up doing the majority of the work, and certainly a lot more than my detractors in this match.